guys, and welcome to another video. So in this video I'm going to go over 2 or 3 managers, you've probably seen the thumbnail already so you know exactly who I'm referring to, that have been linked with the Sunderland job. Of course, currently Mike Dodds is in charge of Sunderland. He's overseen, 3 defeats with him at the helm, 5 defeats on the bounce as I am recording this video, which of course isn't going very well, but the worse it gets, the more managers that are touted to be linked with the Sunderland job, of course. And I've been trying to refrain from doing these sort of rumour videos because given that Dodds has got the job until the end of the season, I've been making a new video every sort of day or two because there's always someone new that's linked. However, the sort of 3 that I'm going to discuss in this video have remained at the sort of top end for a while. So I want to give you my sort of thoughts on them. And yeah, I don't want to spoil it, but I wouldn't take any of them. But I have my reasons, and that's what the video is essentially. So if you care about my opinion, hit the like button, that'd be great. But firstly, we will start with a new one, and that is Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Apparently, he has thrown his hat in the ring for the Sunderland job. I've seen online, on Twitter and what have you, I've tried to gauge what Sunderland fans thought about this, and it's actually very 50-50. Some are just saying absolutely not, he's tactically inept. It was the likes of, you know, McKenna, who's currently the Ipswich manager, who kept him in the job at Man United. Carrick was there as well, but I feel like, you know, if McKenna weren't doing as well as he has done, no one would be saying that. No one's saying that Carrick kept him in the job and things like that. I don't think that's particularly fair. For me, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, he does have a vast amount of knowledge, a vast amount of experience, and he's kind of in between the experienced manager and the totally inexperienced, which I think would suit the current hierarchy, which, you know, whether they're still going to be here at come the end of the season or the beginning of next season, that remains to be seen as well. But that it would suit the current sort of model, if you will, because he is a youngish manager. He's done a little bit here and a little bit there. Granted, his record isn't phenomenal. At times at Manchester United, he had them playing some fantastic football, but it went downhill. And, you know, a lot of people say that Sunderland's a poison chalice, but Manchester United, Jesus Christ, is a poison chalice. You might say that he had a better squad than they do now, but I don't necessarily agree. I think he actually probably had more challenges than a lot more. After listening to the overlap, the podcast, he absolutely had his own challenges, but he did actually do a lot, probably a lot more good than bad. It just soured at the end, and you know, United, it's a results game with any club. If you can't turn a corner, then you lose your job, and that's exactly what happened with Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. So for me, out of the trio I'm going to speak about, Solskjaer, for some reason, actually sits more well with me. I don't know why. This isn't me saying I necessarily want him here, but I don't think I would be absolutely livid if he was appointed. I will just jump to the end now and just say that I would love Will Still. I still want Will Still, because even though he's a young lad, he has the experience and he's actually doing well. Granted, if you have a look over in France now with Will Still, he's had a really tough time of it since the turn of the new year. He is struggling a little bit. However, there's still the odd result here and there, and given he's 31 years of age and his record already is pretty sublime, apart from recent results, which again, that's going to happen. Form is form. Sometimes you dip, sometimes you don't. That's what it is. But I would love to see Will Still at the helm. Again, he's someone who would fit the model as such, but he's also a very good manager, and he has an array of languages he can speak, which I've seen, which with this squad as well, there's different nationalities and that within the squad. It's obviously quite a lot of French lads as well, which would sit perfectly well with him. He's fluent in French. He's currently working in France. I think he would be a very, very good candidate for the job. Now, so for Solskjaer, for me, I'd be very 50-50. I won't be fuming, but I also wouldn't be absolutely buzzing if he was appointed, if that makes sense. So I'm kind of on the fence with Solskjaer. Again, he has a massive amount of experience, achieved a lot in the game, Champions Leagues, Premier Leagues, and a striker that could maybe get our strikers scoring goals as well. So do you know what I mean? I feel like there are some positives with Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. But yeah, so that's that manager. We'll move on to the next. Hi guys, sorry to interrupt the video. I just wanted to let you guys know that I have just turned on channel memberships. It's something that's been available to me for quite some time now, but I just haven't activated it because something about channel memberships just didn't sit really well with me. But I've decided to look at it in a different way in terms of I think channel members, if anything, it'd just give me a bit more motivation to continue content, and it shows that you guys are enjoying the content and you want it. Of course, that doesn't mean everybody needs to get involved, or I'm not asking or begging for money at all. That definitely isn't the case whatsoever. It's just something I thought if anyone did want to get involved in and wanted to help the channel out, it would be massively appreciated. For those of you who don't know and know this isn't some kind of like sob story or a beg story, it's just to give you a bit more background about me. It isn't as if I'm just sat on my arse every day by myself just thinking, oh, I might put some content out today, I might not. I work as a support worker for adults with learning disabilities and challenging behaviours, and I do 24-hour shifts, and a lot of those shifts I get no sleep on, and then the second I finish that shift, I'm coming on to the YouTube content, which again, it's my choice, it's a hobby. But I think particularly when things aren't going well with the club or things aren't going well with Sunderland in general, sometimes there is a severe lack of motivation, and I just think channel membership and stuff like that, it just brings me a bit closer to you guys, and it give me a bit more motivation, that bit of oomph when I am a bit zombified, and just to make more content and stuff like that. So yeah, I hope this all made sense. So if you are willing or you would like to, of course, this doesn't, no one has to do this at all. But if you would like to help out the channel and become a channel member, that'd be absolutely fantastic. It'd be so appreciated. But I'll let you get back to the video. Take care and stay jammy. Now, the next manager is Scott Parker. So with Scott Parker, it's a difficult one because with him being a former mag, for me, it's an absolute no anyway. It's just the way I am. I know a lot of people might say that's just fickle, it's just daft, but it is just the way I am. I don't want a former mag at the club in any capacity, to be honest with you, particularly at the helm. But the annoying thing is, I do actually think he would do a decent job. Yeah, he did. He got Fulham playing some really good football. He did it with Bournemouth at times, but then he had that horrific start to the season with Bournemouth, didn't he? In the Premier League, where I think it was 4 games, 4 defeats on the bounce. And after 4 games of the season, he got sacked. It ended with a 9-0 defeat against Liverpool, where I think he came out after that game and said that his team, his squad, aren't equipped to compete in this league. And of course, if you come out with something like that, you're going to get the sack. But that's just a bit of honesty, I guess. And I know that might be not quite shouldering the responsibility, but it is a bit of brutal honesty there. But for me, Scott Parker, I couldn't personally do it with him being a former mag. Again, you might see that as being tedious and daft. I do think he might be able to get us, having a decent brand of football, a young up-and-coming manager as well. But for me, I just couldn't do it. I couldn't do it. But last on the list is Roy Keane. Now, apparently, according to Nick Barnes, who has been speaking recently, I think over the last day or so, he's the one who said that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer threw his hat in the ring. He said Scott Parker has been credited with some interest as well. And none of this has come directly from the club, but from his sources. Apparently, Roy Keane has expressed an interest as well. However, on the flip side, Nick Barnes also said he doesn't see Roy Keane coming under this regime. Now, whether that's a hint that the regime is going to change, I don't know. I don't think it is. I think we'd be reading too much into it if that was the case. But I do think that Roy Keane, personally, regardless of the regime or not, I feel like this squad would really struggle with Roy Keane and the way that he is. Me personally, if Roy Keane was my manager, I'd be running through brick walls for the bloke because, he's a natural born leader. It's not like he's just sat on an empty career of nothingness. He's won absolutely everything in the game that needs to be won. He has a stupid amount of experience, and that natural leadership ability that he has works, or I think it only really works maybe in the last generation. The new generation, again, and I'm not putting everyone into one big basket here, but particularly the young squad and how much players these days need to be mollycoddled a little bit. Some players do just need an arm around them. That's always been there. That's not just a new generational thing. But I think young lads would struggle with the way that Roy Keane is. And I've seen stories, Jordan Henson's come out with it and how brutal he can be. But back then when he was with us, there was a lot of characters within the group. But with us at the moment, we have a lot of young lads who I think would absolutely crumble with Roy Keane at the helm. Again, that might be me thinking too much into it. It'd be interesting to see what you guys think, to be honest with you, with Roy Keane, because personally, I would like him. I said at the top of the video that none of these I would really want in charge, but Roy Keane, I'd happily take him. I think he fits us perfectly in the way he's built and the way that he is. However, I just don't think he would be good for the club at the moment. You need someone who can do the sort of soft side of the game, and I just don't think that's in Roy at all, sadly. And that's it's not a bad thing that he is the way he is, because I love Roy Keane. Like I said, for me personally, it would work perfectly for me, or maybe some of the older guard, which we don't really have. It would work perfectly for. But when you've got a team that have the average age is 21, taking a bollocking for them, it could just again, it's all about character. But I can just see all the kids being, heads down, scared to put themselves on the line and stuff like that. Well, this is what Roy Keane wants, and I feel like it wouldn't be a great fit at this moment in time. However, and this is something that Nick Barnes also said, if the regime at the moment were a little bit more, I think he used the word elastic, so a bit more flexible with their incomings and signings and what have you, in terms of not just bringing in youth, I think that would be more appealing for Roy Keane, which I totally agree with. I absolutely believe that we do need experience. It is blatantly clear. It's blatantly obvious. We can't expect success and be naive to believe that we're going to stormroll the championship with just kids. And it is ridiculous. We only players over the age of like 26, 27. I think it's Roberts, Evans, and an 09. I think that's it, isn't it? Unless I'm missing someone there. I probably am. But we don't have any experience. I know that and Speakman's argument is, well, yes, you say not experience, but that's just linking it with age. Like Dhannoo has had a ton of games under his belt now, and he's still a young lad. Other players are the same now. But you do need that little bit of nous and that bit of experience to pull you through games, or to drag you back on the upside and bring momentum back when your heads go down. You need that, and we don't have that whatsoever. Now, also, I think we need the balance. I've seen so many Sunderland fans just say, we need to spend money, we need to splash the gas, we need to do this. I've actually seen Sunderland fans on social media be fuming with the fact that we have the 4th lowest wage bill in the league. And I find that baffling. Why would you be angry at that? I get the whole concept on the counter of that is you should be spending more money or trying to improve the squad, but that is a business that has been run brilliantly. To say that we got in the top 6 last season, we've flirted with it for the majority of this season, albeit it's not going well now. That is phenomenal business to keep it at that lower end. But I also agree that we need to spread our wings in terms of going for experience and stuff like that, because a lot of people nowadays, and again, this isn't me patronising anyone, but a lot of people seem to think that money reflects an immediate quality or the standard of a player. It's not true. Say, for example, Mayenda. Say for example, we paid $1 million for him, right? If we paid $6 million for him, would that make him an amazing player? No, it'd just make it a shit deal. You know what I mean? Because he isn't worth that much. So a lot of people just say, oh, well, they've spent $5 million on that player. And even if that player isn't playing particularly well, they don't care. They don't take that. It's just the money aspect of it. So I think business-wise, it's going perfectly. But now I think we need to be a bit more open with the policy. I think it just needs to be balanced, because if people just want money thrown at it, then we may as well get Ellis Short back, because some people might have short-term memories with that this club was getting run into the ground at the out. Financially, we were very, very close to almost going bust, because Ellis Short was just pissing money up the wall, and it was a lot of money and absolute shit players. Look at Ndong. We signed him for 16, 17 million, and he was absolutely dog shit. But because he's worth a lot, people are like, oh, well, we're spending money, like, yay. Like, how is that a positive? Do you know what I mean? It's just destroying the club. So at least we're safe in the sound, in the sort of mindset of it being a business. But I totally agree that they have been too strict with this model, which we keep on alluding to. I do absolutely believe we need to bring some experience in, because on paper it sounds great bringing a load of youth prospects, but when things aren't going well, you need the experienced heads, and we don't have them. So yeah, so I've got off tangent lows there, but I hope you understand what I'm getting at. It'd be massively interesting to see what you guys think about everything in the comments down below. Hopefully we can get ourselves back to winning ways somehow this weekend at St Mary's if the stadium ain't caught on fire, because I know yesterday there was a fire right outside St Mary's, so hopefully that isn't too serious and they've managed to sort that out. I haven't checked anything as of yet. But yeah, that's everything, guys. Would you take any of the managers suggested in this video? How do you feel about everything in terms of experience needed, money, all that kind of stuff? Let me know in the comments down below. But if you have enjoyed, please hit the like button for me. It'd be massively, massively appreciated. And subscribe to the channel if you're not already to become a fully fledged member of the Sarny Army. But for now, take care and stay jammy.